I've been wanting to tell this story for a while because I feel that it really honors God through it, and it really shows God's grace. It's a story that I've never told publicly, but I've been feeling that the Lord wants me to tell it. So here we go. This is the Apache Creek story. So back in I think it was 1996. I was about 21 years old, I think. These two friends of mine drew out for elk, so they came up and we went elk hunting. It was cold and wet. So we just, after we hunted that morning, we just went back to camp, but we started playing cards and we were drinking, and it was stupid, but it's part of the story. I asked a friend of mine, I said, let me borrow your truck. I'm gonna run to town. Bad decision, and I was driving too fast, and I come around a curve there, and there's a Apache Creek store sits out there at the intersection where 32 comes into 12. There was a little Ford Bronco that pulled out of that parking lot and pulled onto the highway. Kind of pulled out in front of me, and it kind of aggravated me, I remember at the time. So I thought, I'm just gonna blow this guy's doors off. So I moved that Chevrolet pickup over there in that passing lane, and I kind of got on it, and I was probably running 75, 80 miles an hour in a bad spot. And that guy in that Bronco never hit his brakes. He never hit his turn signal. He just turned, and he turned left in front of me, and right at the point of no return, he turned left. And that little Ford Bronco turned right broadside in my lane, and I was left with the choice. I knew that I could either T-bone him, and I knew I would kill him, and I didn't know how I would walk away. Or I could jerk that pickup off of the road. I could make sure that I didn't hit him, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out for myself. Whenever I was going around him and he turned left in front of me, boy, I eased that Chevrolet pickup off the road, and granted, now it's been snowing. There's probably a foot of snow on the ground. And I got that truck off, and I was about halfway in the snow, and I got right around the front of his Bronco, and I went to pull that truck back up on the road, and I was trying to ease it up, and all of a sudden all four tires broke loose, and that truck swapped ends, and I was running probably 80 miles an hour, and I knew that it was fixing to get ugly. So when that truck swapped ends, the last thing I remember in this accident is I remember grabbing the bottom of that steering wheel, and I was telling myself, you better hang on. And that was the last thing I remember. The next thing I remembered, I was rolled up in a tarp on the side of the road. The ambulance came, and there was some of the locals that were standing around there, I knew. And I wanted to my feet, but of course they wouldn't let me get to my feet. They were telling me, Couy, you're hurt, you need to stay down. So I stayed down, and they loaded me in the ambulance, and they hauled me off. And long story short, I almost died. I almost bled out. I had hypothermia real bad because I had landed in the water. And so that slowed the bleeding down some. And then they airlifted me from Silver City to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I laid up in an intensive care at UNM in Albuquerque for 4 or 5 days. They cut me open. They did exploratory surgery. All they did was just have to take out my spleen, and I healed up pretty quick. So I healed up quick enough to go ahead and go to this Wild West show in France, and I spent about almost 6 years working over there. Well, the Lord really started working in my life, and I felt that call to ride from San Francisco to Jerusalem. So in 2006 and 2007, I rode across the states.